The best road team in the National Hockey League does it once again. The Dallas Stars take Game 3 by a final score of 4-1, and they take a series lead over the Avalanche. Let's jump into Game 3 next on Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans, and welcome back to another episode of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. It's a pleasure to be with you. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. The Dallas Stars take Game 3 by a final score of 4-1, and they take a series lead over the Colorado Avalanche for the first time in the series, and it was a clinical third period for the Dallas Stars to close out game number 3. The comeback was not in the cards tonight for Colorado because the Dallas Stars buckled down defensively, and it was fantastic. What a period for the Dallas Stars. The third period was by far their best of the series, and of course, the best of Game 3 to take Game 3 by a final score of 4-1. Tyler Seguin has a couple of goals. So does Logan Stankoven. Just really incredible work from the Stars once again. And this was Vegas series-esque from the Dallas Stars in the way they just buckled down defensively. They limited Colorado to a lot of perimeter looks. Oettinger was big when he needed to be. And then what a defensive effort when it came to the extra attacker, just grinding on the boards, winning 50-50 pucks, and then Seguin buries it. And of course, Stankoven into the empty net as well. I mean, really, really salty stuff from the Dallas Stars in the final 20. Look, I don't know if Dallas really deserved to win that game with how fantastic Colorado came out of the gates. But look, the Stars survived. And I mentioned that after game 2, going to Colorado, how are the Stars going to respond if they have to play from behind or when they trail? Well, that hasn't happened yet in the series. The Dallas Stars have led for an entire series so far. Not the entire series, but you know what I mean. They haven't trailed a single second. Of course, Colorado won in OT in game 1, but they have not trailed. And it took a lot to not play from behind here tonight because they got in penalty trouble early. They took 3 penalties in that first period alone. The penalty kill was brilliant. They shouldn't have had a lead heading into the second period, but Dallas was opportunistic. When they got their looks, they buried them. And for the first time this postseason, it felt like they won a game that maybe they didn't deserve to win on paper, but the way they played that third period was just so sound. And you have to show love to Chris Tanev, who had an incredible game tonight. Besides the whiff on a beautiful MacKinnon toe drag to get Colorado on the board, he was supreme against MacKinnon and company. The Stars kept Makar off the board. Rantanen picks up the lone goal for Colorado. But other than that, it was the Dallas Stars in that third period to close it out. It was by far the most even period. If you look at the puck possession stats at 5-on-5, it was 50%. Stars had a slight edge in all situations. Dallas only had 18 chances in the game. Avalanche had 34, but look, the Stars capitalized when Colorado made some mistakes. And I think Dallas is starting to attack Colorado as if, hey, let's use their aggressiveness to our advantage. Let's hunker down in the neutral zone, set up 3 guys, and make Colorado beat pretty much every single sweater. Make them beat 5 men to get to the net and make it extremely hard on them to make creative plays across the line. The Stars did an excellent job of killing plays, especially on entries in the third more specifically. But throughout the game, I just felt Pete DeBoer challenged the Stars to, hey, let's stay structured here. Let's not get pulled out of our game. Let's force Colorado to force the issue a bit, and maybe frustration starts to set in a tad bit. But I mean, the PK was brilliant in the first period. The Stankoven goal, his first career Stanley Cup playoff goal, and of course he picks up his second with the empty netter. What a play by Miro, too. The little slit pass on the backhand, and then Stankoven with that quick shot to beat Georgiev. Oettinger was big in the game when he had to be 28 saves for Mr. Oettinger. He looked the part all night long. And Tyler Seguin, what a beautiful setup by Dodonov. What an outlet pass by Tanev to spring that 3-on-2. And that's as textbook as a 3-on-2 gets. Center lane drive, play it to the wing, and then drive the net. And Seguin had his stick available. Dodonov put it right there, and then boom. Seguin now in 6 games against the Avalanche this season, which includes the playoff, 9 goals. Tyler Seguin is back. Of course, he has goals in back-to-back games now. And just real impressive stuff from Dallas. Seguin with a couple of goals, had the highest game score of the night for Dallas at 2.881. But here's the key. And I mentioned this over the past 2 games when Colorado had those really phenomenal third period comebacks. That expected goals against in that third period for Dallas, 0.48. 0.48. And I mean, you're getting their best, I should say, from Colorado. 0.48 goals against. 0.48. I have to reiterate that. Against the best offense in the National Hockey League. And Dallas goes in on the road and a blue-collar type effort to take Game 3 by a final score of 4-1, and now you have a chance to grab them by the throat in Game 4, so to speak, on Monday night. But really clinical stuff in the third period. Look, the first 2 sets of 20 minutes were not pretty, but oddly enough, it worked. It wasn't spectacular by any stretch of the imagination. They were surviving. They were just kind of sitting back on their heels, and Colorado was sending everything they had at them. But look, I think it seemed to be a bit of a change of pace for Dallas. Instead of trying to maybe keep up with the Joneses, so to speak, they just kind of hunker down. And I thought it was a really nice defensive effort in that third period. And for the most part, for the first 40, I thought it was a decent effort. It's not like they gave up a ton of high danger chances. I thought they boxed out pretty well, even though they took a couple penalties. And unfortunately, I think that knocked them off their rhythm in the first 20, just with all the penalties and having to kill. It really can throw them off their rhythm. But it was a road period. It felt like a road period and a road game from the Dallas Stars, where they go in, maybe they don't have the legs off the hop. And as the game wore on, they got better. And that third period was just fantastic. And then they closed it out with a couple of empty netter goals by Seguin and Stankoven. They outshot Colorado 10-7 in the third. Ended up with just 5 giveaways. Colorado with 12 on the night. Stars didn't generate a ton, but I mean, they finished with 23 shots on the night. And when they had their looks, they buried them. I mean, they executed hands down. And once again, we're talking about depth scoring from the Dallas Stars with a couple from 91. I thought his line was great. That Duchesne line just seemed to be able to at least generate most of the offense, even when Dallas was sort of on their heels. I thought that line was fantastic, along with the fourth, Dodonov. Great work for him. I haven't showed him enough love throughout the postseason. Dodonov has been really good, and he just has a great ability to get on his horse. He has a quick first step, and sometimes, man, he's just shot out of a cannon. And he made of course, a phenomenal play. But Duchesne and company were great. They just ended up with 3 scoring chances on the night, and maybe one of those goes to the fourth line as Seguin jumped on to have a hand in that one. Just really, really, really nice stuff. They were outshot 20-8 at some point, I think, when Colorado got their first goal. But look, once again, you're going to have to win some of those games throughout a postseason. Ones you're not supposed to win. Ones you probably don't deserve to. As I said it in game 2, it doesn't matter. You don't get style points at this time of year. No one cares. No one cares when we look to tomorrow. By tomorrow, everything's up. Stars are up 2-1. Colorado's like, hey, yeah, we may have deserved to win, but hey, now we have to try to even up the series. You just move on, and you have to win some of those uglies. And feels like they finally won one of those when they weren't playing their best, and Colorado's just on top of them, but they strike a couple times and they play with a lead. And the more they do that, the more this Colorado team's going to be frustrated. And I don't think Colorado was, throwing tantrums by any sort of the imagination here. I'm not trying to create that narrative, but look, if you continue to play with a lead on this team that's expected to just score a ton, and you really limit their chances, that is going to wear on them in a series when they just scored 4 a game pretty much against Winnipeg. And that was a great third period and a great thing, or a great sign of things to come for Dallas, because they had to win a third period. They hadn't won one yet, and they won that one 3-0. They won it 3-0 in game 3, and they take game 3 by a final score of 4-1. Stars are surviving on the road. Yes, they are, but it works. It works for the best road team in the NHL. Let's get into some of the road games already in this postseason and just how fantastic the Stars have looked away from the American Airline Center. We'll jump into that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Policy Genius. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace that saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policy Genius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts are on hand to help talk you through it. Talk to a team of award-winning agents who will talk you through the process step by step. Policy Genius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. They have no incentive to recommend you one insurer over the other, so you can trust their guidance. They want to check life insurance off your to-do list, and you should too. Check life insurance off your to-do list with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonnhl. That's policygenius.com/lockedonnhl, or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonnhl. S squared from the Dallas Stars tonight. Stankoven twice, Seguin twice. Duchesne picks up a point. Tanev and Steele with a couple of helpers. Beautiful stuff from them. Robertson and Hintz also pick up a points on the Stankoven empty net goal. But Dallas continues to be pretty lights out on the road. They're now 3-1 on the postseason. And here's the number. So the Stars have led 114 minutes and 59 seconds through 3 games. The Stars led for 90 seconds fewer in 7 games against Vegas. That's how kind of wild this series has been. And you can make a big case. Dallas should be up 3-0 in the series after going up 3-0 in game 1, but they didn't finish game 1 like they did tonight. Tanev, I mean, he just embodies, gosh, he's so damn good. He's so damn good. We're going to have to start Locked On Chris Tanev now, okay? Sorry, Wyatt. You're phenomenal, but I think we need Locked On Chris Tanev. Just, he embodies everything the Stars want in their defensive game and wants in their defensemen, right? Just kind of bulky, brood. He's physical. He takes hits. He takes contact, but he's fleet-footed. He moves. He makes plays. He takes hits to make plays. Him and Lindell were just so good. Tanev ended up playing just over 24 minutes. He had 5 block shots. He ended up with that huge block shot in the first period, which saved a goal. I mean, MacKinnon was ready to clap that bomb home, and Tanev denied him. Ends up with 5 blocks on the night, and it is just every time he's on the ice, he just squashes plays. He comes out with the puck on almost every board battle, and that was a very underrated part, I think, of Game 3 too. The way Dallas just really worked the perimeter. They were phenomenal on the outskirts of the rink, and as I mentioned, I think they just came out with the approach, hey, Colorado, you're going to have to go through five sweaters to get to Jake Oettinger. And MacKinnon made a phenomenal play on their goal where he just went right through the seam of the defense, and he got a shot in the crease, and it was a slam dunk for Rantanen. But outside of that, I mean, I can't recall a ton of just, phenomenal looks or where there was a ton of bodies in front of Oettinger. Taze had one in the first period, but then again, it's a shot from the circle just against Oettinger. So, I mean, it's 1-on-1. You hate to give up that look, but Oettinger came up huge with the save. Would love to see the expected goals against numbers. It was only 2.67 against Jake, and I mean for allowing 34 scoring chances, it's not the worst thing in the world. And yes, Colorado had the puck a ton. Dallas had to flip out of their zone a lot. It's real tough when Colorado is sending their defensemen. I mean, you saw it every time the puck was sent to a winger for Dallas. I mean, that strong side defenseman for Colorado is pinching down every single time. And you would love for Dallas to take a bit more advantage of that, see if they can get some more odd man rushes. But I thought they accepted it and just said, hey, we're going to have to be simple. And it's going to be a lot of high flips. We're not going to make a ton of controlled exits. And you just maybe have to live with that, with the way Colorado is just humming and they're on top of you. They're taking away time and space. And then Dallas kind of tilted that back in the third period because now Colorado has the pressure to score. And Dallas was just kind of in their box. I mean, they mentioned it on the broadcast where Dallas is clogging up the neutral zone. Not a lot of room for Colorado to work. And they weren't necessarily wanting to play the dump and chase game, right? They had a lot of trouble, getting into Stars territory with speed. And that is a combination of great gap from Stars defensemen and really, really good forechecking from Dallas, forcing Colorado into negative plays. You saw it specifically in the PK in the first, where every time there was one little misstep, a mishandle for Colorado, there's a sweater on top of you, a white sweater, and then it's down the rink. It's down the rink immediately. And that's the type of details and small things that win these type of hockey games. Yes, it wasn't pretty and maybe it wasn't to plan, but I mean, Dallas played really well. They played really well. And it wasn't like we saw in the first 2 games, but I thought they had a good handle on the game. I thought they really handled it well, where they didn't give in to Colorado in the way that they just wanted to play helter-skelter, kind of chaotic hockey. And in the third period, it was Colorado dictating the play. And I don't think that was in the first 2 games. In this third period of Game 3, they just kind of sat back and said, hey, you're gonna have to beat everyone. And plus our netminder who's feeling it tonight. And that's the makeup of the best road team in the NHL. And once again, Otter holds them to 1. He's been so good on the road this season. And then you get really nice games from Seguin and Stankoven, and Miro. I mean, you kind of name it up and down the lineup. Some really good nights, and it wasn't the offensive flair that we saw in game 2, but really just sound and, kiss hockey, right? Keep it simple, stupid. I thought Dallas did that to perfection. And Colorado has to be thinking, yeah, we should have won that game, but look, they didn't. And Dallas was so good. I mean, outshooting, the Avs in that third period, I think is all you need to know. That's really tough to do. Really tough to do. Holding on to a 1-goal lead for the entirety of the first 15 minutes when you're just going to get everything from the Avs, and they get the job done. Really, really incredible stuff. 3-1 now on the road in the postseason. And that'll win you series. Being good on the road, you got to win a couple on home ice, of course. But if you can take a few when you're not supposed to, it certainly helps out. It helps out, that's for sure. It's the first of 4, and Dallas is now up in the series 2-1. And game 4 is going to be huge. Game 4 is going to be very, very pivotal, and it will be intriguing to say the least, because I thought Colorado's pretty good in the game, but look, it wasn't good enough, right? And that's a hard pill to swallow if you're on that side. And I think if you're Pizza Boar and the Stars, look, guys, maybe like that may be their best, and we held our own in the game, and I don't know. Maybe that is their best. I'm not going to go quite as far to say that yet, because at some point you think Dallas is going to trail inevitably, but hasn't happened yet through 3 games, and Colorado picked up a win, right? So that's just hockey, right? And that's why we love it. And sometimes we hate it at the same time. Game 4 is an 8:30 start, by the way, just in case you missed that. I think that kind of came out right at puck drop. 8:30 Central Standard Time start. Game 5, by the way, is a 7 o'clock start back in Dallas on the 15th. So the Central Time Zone does exist to the National Hockey League. So there we go. Some good stuff. Let's get into the adapt or die segment here of Locked On Stars, which I want to talk about once again with sort of the tactical change I felt with Dallas here in Game 3 against Colorado, and we'll do that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience, that's what brings home championships, and it keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance: superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, with all the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to make your car into the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. By the way, the Dallas Stars PK is now 5 for 5 in their last 2 games. It was fantastic. Didn't give up a ton of great looks in Game 3 tonight. By the way, Stankoven with his 2 playoff goals becomes the 5th different rookie in Stars team history to score 2+ goals in a playoff game. He joins now Colorado Avalanche. Yoel Kiviranta, of course, had that heroic hat trick in Game 7 against the Avs. And then, Denis Gurianov, who, of course, not on the Stars anymore, had that 4-goal game. And then Roope Hintz had a couple in 2019, a couple of times, and Nico Kapanen. So how about that? Back in 2003. So good for Stankoven, joining great company. And for my money, will probably be better than those 4. maybe not Roope. Maybe I shouldn't be that sold on him yet, but I think he can be every bit as good as Roope Hintz. But and he's just a little water bug out there. That one shift in the third period where I mean he's tracking a guy from deep in Colorado zone to the red line, just buzzing out there, just hacking away. It's so fun to watch him just be a pest, and it's not in a dirty way as a la right Brad Marchand. It is just, I'm going to win. Like, you are not going to best me. It's great stuff. But, and maybe that's what the Dallas Stars are trying to embody here in this series. And what I wanted to get at and really dive into is Pete DeBoer. I think it's coming from him. Obviously, I'll give him his credit. He's been phenomenal so far in the postseason of just saying, hey, you know what? Colorado wants to play one style of game. I think for the most part, where, hey, we're going to just overpower you. We're going to overpower you with our superstars because we got damn good ones. And yes, they do. They're fantastic. But hey, try to beat all 5 of us. Try to beat all 5 of us. Try to do it when we are in defensive posture and when we are at our best. Try to overpower us now. See how you do. See how aggressive you want to be. And maybe you cough one up. Maybe you make a mistake and then boom, it's in the back of your net. Now continue to do that. And I think the Stars did such a great job here tonight. And I know the first 20 was not beautiful. And it wasn't necessarily the perfect way to win a hockey game. But I thought they really just bought into like, hey, we're going to survive here a bit. We're in altitude. We just traveled. Like, we're going to have to kind of play a game where short shifts, get pucks in deep, a lot of high flips, just get it out of our zone and get fresh legs on the ice so we can continue to defend at a high enough level to keep Colorado off the board for as long as we could. And it was inevitable for Colorado to get on the board with the way Dallas was playing. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, this is the formula to beat Colorado. It's not. It certainly isn't. But I think for this one tonight, it was almost perfect. Look, that 7-game series in Vegas was grueling. It was grueling. And they almost just have to reset themselves. And it was a perfect time. Like, hey, we don't need to be overly out in front of our heels. Like we put it on them in the first 2 games early. Let's just ease our way into this hockey game. It didn't go to plan by taking 6 minutes worth of penalties in the first 20 minutes. They would have loved to play some more 5-on-5, but unfortunately, they took a couple of minors and that threw a wrench into their plans, so to speak. But their PK comes up big. Jake Oettinger is great. I mean, 11 shots in the first and second period for Colorado, and you only gave up 1 goal. And then you go into a third period where you just have to hunker down and dominate. And we're seeing now throughout this postseason, and maybe this is the bigger overarching point. Dallas is winning in a lot of different ways, folks. Winning in a lot of different ways. More importantly, they are closing out games. And we didn't see that in the first 2 games of the series, okay? But the 4 wins they had against Vegas, and now you throw this one in here, 5 wins out of the 8 games now. Sorry, math. I'm suck at math. 10. I mean, half of those just clinical stuff defensively to close out wins. And they've bucked up their physical play. They've bucked up to Vegas in that aspect. They've won by just getting depth scoring. They've won by special teams. They're winning games where they're just surviving, so to speak, and playing more of a defensive-minded game by just rolling 4 lines and staying within themselves. They're staying within their plan and not allowing Colorado to pull them out of it. And I think it's a great sign, and I think shows great strides from the first 2 games to game 3, whereas you just got completely, really, frankly, embarrassed in the final 2 periods in game 1 and 2. But this was like, hey, this is what Colorado, this is what you guys are going to have to face if you want to win 3 more times. We're going to give you our best shot. So I'm intrigued to see how the rest of the series goes. This one was a huge concern for me tonight. It really was. I wasn't expecting a whole lot. I'll be completely honest. And they played very well. I thought they played just a really decent road game. And decent was good enough tonight. It was more than good enough. The third period was great. Probably their best period of the series, frankly. At least defensively. Maybe it wasn't, I mean, in terms of goals and stuff, but I thought it was their best period of the series. I thought they had to do that in order to win this game tonight. And it was great stuff. It was great stuff. I think they're just finding ways to be comfortable in their own skin, so to speak, and find a way to win games. And there's no style points. As I said after last game, who cares? Who cares how you did it? Hey, job is done. Job is frankly done now. You at least got 1 win on the road. Hey, go for the jugular. Take game 4, right? And then you have a convincing series lead. Phenomenal stuff. And that's where I'm going to leave it tonight on Locked On Stars. Dallas takes game 3, final score 4-1. Seguin with a couple. Stankoven with a couple. And the Stars have a 2-1 series lead. So that'll do it for today's episode of Locked On Stars. Be sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, never miss an episode. Follow Locked On Stars on Twitter. Follow Joey the Jet 19 on Twitter as well. Appreciate your support as always. Please be sure, I should say, comment. Let me know how Game 3 made you feel. I know it wasn't necessarily what we wanted to see in the first 40, but it feels like this was a bit opposite of game 2, where that one left a just terribly bitter taste in your mouth what you won. But this one, recency bias is like, oh, that was a great game because they closed it out. So it's an interesting way. And they won both games, but it's kind of this feels more satisfying, even though maybe game 2 is more dominating in a lot of ways. So that's just but look, who cares? Stars have a 2-1 series lead. That'll do it for today's episode. We'll see you again on Monday, of course, for game 4. Appreciate all the love and support. Please be sure to comment, like, hit all that good stuff. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy a wonderful Sunday. And we'll see you tomorrow. So long, Stars fans.